It's I heard that the first time, well, hopefully this isn't work. Oh, it says it's recording right now. Great, great, great. Okay, so I will announce fun stuff in Thanksgiving. But just in case, I'm gonna record this so they can
This
video too.
meeting is being recorded.
So welcome everybody to the Facebook group call. I've got Anne and Shelly here, and maybe some more people as time goes on. But Anne, go ahead and give us a win, and then let's do some coaching. And then Shelly, I know you need some coaching too, so we'll get everybody in today. What do you need?
Um, I don't have, I don't know, wins are more like personal side of things, but
Okay, go ahead.
just tackling more personal to-do lists. But um yeah, I guess a win for business is some of my clients paid me last week, so that's good. So like officially, joining. But something that's kind of frustrating is like I had signed 5 clients in October. And when I say signed, I didn't get payment. But
Okay.
we had our call and they're like, I'm all in. Like they knew the full picture, the price, they agreed, they told me what payment plan they wanted to do. And we scheduled out like all of our sessions. And then 2 of them just said, never mind. So, and what's interesting is one person decided that ultimately it was finances, which I like, it's fine. It's funny because I followed up with an email like, hey, like we're gonna start tomorrow, like just want to get, or in like a few days, just want to get an understanding of, um, you know, like you got to fill out these paperwork, you got to pay for us to start. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna send it over to you. So it was still reassuring. And then the next morning she was like, oh, actually, not gonna do this. So that sucks. But another one too, turn on my light so I'm not so dark. But is this other lady that was going to join, and we had been messaging since June. So she is like a friend of a friend type thing, or I guess a stepsister. And we messaged since June. She was like, told me her story. She wanted to join all this stuff. We had a call and she was like, I'm all in. I knew what to expect, but I just like wanted to do the call to make sure. So I thought that was like a for sure yes. And then she was like, I read your contract, and your contract like basically made me say no. And what had happened, and I don't know if you're sharing your screen or not, but
No, no, I'll still
okay.
put it in the chat. I don't do that for the coaching call. I don't do
Oh,
it
that's
for the
right.
Facebook calls, but I will put it in the chat and I will share it with everybody after this call in the Facebook group.
No
But
worries.
yeah, so she read your
Um,
contract, and what did the contract say?
so in my contract, I have to legally say that my stuff is generalized information and that because I'm not a medical provider and I don't provide any medical advice. So she took that literally and she thought that that meant that I give no personalized recommendations, even though it was very clear. Like, I was like, were we not on the same call together? I mean, we work 4 months one-on-one every out. Like, it is so personalized. And then she said, in your contract, it says that you can't make any bad reviews. And what my contract actually says is that if there's any like disputes together, basically you have to come to me before blasting me on social media. And it's like, I mean, it's like 4-page contract because I had a legal team help me write it. And so it was just kind of bizarre.
Very bizarre, but not, just get ready because that is not gonna. Okay, you got three different things I want to tell you. First and foremost, we're still celebrating that you had, even though you didn't sign five, you
Yeah.
still signed three clients in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So phenomenal. We love
Yeah.
this. This is fantastic. The other thing is, typically when you feel like things are like a sure thing, you might miss things. So you might miss some skepticism, especially if you've been messaging since June. It sounds like she's digging through your contract and there were some other insecurities there that might not have been addressed. And the only reason I'm saying this is you want to be able to focus on what you can control. So I think these
Mhm.
are odd situations, surely. The client with the money issue is probably not, but at least this like double reading the contract. So what instead I want you to use this as an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, so this was a learning opportunity. People are
Mhm.
going to really dig into the contract. Maybe I just need to say something ahead of time and say, hey, I know it says I can't give like exact legal medical advice, but
Mhm.
that does still mean that I'm going to be giving you personalized recommendations that will be based off of your medical records. So that's just a confusion that I just want to clear up that it's in the contract. The other thing that I also mentioned is like, I just want you to, and I wouldn't say this on the consult, but if somebody asked you about it in the future, just be like, it's just I'm asking you not to blast me. But it's like, what I would do is I would, with that relative-ish that you have in your sphere, I would be like, hey, no worries. Like, thank you so much for like letting me know what your
That's what I
con
said. Yeah.
I get it. And if you do ever decide that you want that like personalized specific support, I'm always going to be here for you. But, and I'll just send you future things that will be helpful in the future. But then,
Yeah.
so like in the mastermind, we have like a not now like message, and I would just send it to both of them and be like, hey, it's like again, thank you so much for your time. I understand that like you changed your mind and that's totally normal, but I want you to know that my door is always open. If you ever want to come back, I'm here for you. I have had that happen many times where people were like, a yes, then a no for now, and then they come back, and it's like this, like it kind of feels like whiplash, but you're like, all right, like you weren't in before, but you're in now. And I just wouldn't
Mhm.
make it mean anything about you or your process, but I would
Yeah.
try and like think about how you could rectify it in the future. And like the other client where you like where money was the issue, where she's like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna pay, I'm totally gonna pay. No, I'm not actually gonna pay.
Yeah.
I would never schedule calls until they actually pay.
Okay. I mean, to me, that's like a way. I mean, I just schedule the first call, so it's not like, for me, it's a way of being like, all right, so you
That
are
you want to schedule.
into it. Like, I don't schedule all of them, but I schedule
Okay.
out the first one as like, all right, when are we meeting next? Just to
Yep.
like kind of put that
And then
down.
if they don't show, then you say, hey, it looks like you were, it's like, I'm not sure what happened, but I'm always here for you if you need me. I'll send you future resources. But then you
Hmm.
don't want to make it weird for them because if they like panicked and freaked out, a lot of your people might be like, they might change their mind. Like, especially with
Yeah.
like hormonal issues and things like that. Like they might feel like they're in the swing of things. They might feel nervous. They might get swayed by a partner. But then this is another opportunity for you. I would be like, hey, it's like very normal to have questions. Here are the three main questions, I guess this, and this. But I would bring that up even if somebody's like a hell yes on a call for all of you. If somebody is like, oh, I'm absolutely in, I have no questions at all, still bring up objections. Always bring up objections. That is a huge thing because I think that we think it can make them like less certain. And sometimes like it's like if somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm like, I you'll know when somebody's like, okay, I'm in, I'm feeling good about it. That means they're not fully in. Like you're gonna be able to read them immediately. It'll be like you'll be like, okay, it's like I love that you're in. I'm so excited for you. I don't know
Hmm.
if you have any other stakeholders, but typically here's questions that like a lot of people's partners have for me. So I just want to make sure you're prepared for questions for them. I like I've never invested this money before. How is this going to be different than seeing a traditional physician or naturalist?
Hmm.
Naturopath, I mean. And so it's like that might be a question that they have, and I've got some responses for them. The other thing is, how can we be sure that this is going to work? And it's like every week when we meet for 4 months, we're going to be checking in to make sure that it works. So a lot of times things might not work like within the first week. That is unrealistic, which is why I made the program 4 months. So if your partner has questions about that, like let me know. But use the partner as a scapegoat. That's one of my favorite things to do. And be like, oh, does your partner have questions about this? Because I bet your partner is worried because you've invested in a lot of other things before and they're not sure if this is going to work. So it's like, this is what I would tell my partner if I was worried that my partner was worried about it. And it's really just them using their partner as a ruse, you know?
Yeah. 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 Um, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a learning experience. And with the lady that said with the contract, I was like, honestly, I don't want to work with you because if you're going to be that nitpicky about words, this is probably not going to go well in the future. So, um, yeah, I was like, I don't want anything to backfire, especially because I I do teeter like a fine line with, like I have to legally say everything correctly. So if she's going to nitpick me on stuff, then yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I also, for just question that thought and have like us like because she could be a great, I mean, she's already like pretty much in. You've been talking to her since June. So it's
Mhm.
like I would just like a lot of times people get like nervous at the end, and I wouldn't make it mean anything about you or them. Like, oh, she's going to be a terrible client. Maybe not. Maybe she was just like gets really anxious. Who knows? You know?
Yeah.
But the anxiety
I
is
don't know.
probably coming from her hormones, which is probably something that you would help her fix.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
She's a very strong personality type person. So I don't, yeah. We were
So,
actually in a wedding together like a year and a half ago. So it's kind of funny.
so yeah. So you can choose and self-select out.
Mhm.
I will say I've learned a lot from my strong personalities that I've had, and I
Yeah.
attract more people that are more aligned with me as, and not that I'm not a strong personality because I think I am, but I'm like people who are
There's
more aligned with me as
variance.
time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, well, kind of what I had some, I don't know, questions, just general advice, but
Yeah.
I wanted to do like the webinar and everything,
Yes. Yes.
but in full honestly, I just don't have the motivation to put everything together or the energy. And so just I want to start small, like to the point where I haven't even written my social media in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I just want to like I want to do that, but I want like one more action that I can do that's like very doable and I still want to be present, and I don't know, whether that's in person or not, on social media. I just need to show my face a little bit more, be a little bit more in tune. But the thought of like putting together a full webinar from scratch and not just the webinar, but like writing the emails and the posts, it just became like really, really overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
So I just want like one small action that I feel like I can do. And I think we talked about like a little bit ago, like reaching out to chiropractors, but that feels overwhelming. Just like talking to like like clients, somehow finding an easy way to do that, that's small and
Okay.
not daunting.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to give you two things. Okay.
Mhm.
So I want to give you an action that's small and not daunting for sure. But
Mhm.
I have learned, like, especially in this past year, the story that I'm telling myself is very, very, very important. Okay. So
Mhm.
I really just want you to question when you say, okay, it's small and not daunting. What if that's not a circumstance? What if
Mhm.
it's the way you think about other tasks? Like it seems like posting feels like small enough and not daunting, but for other people, posting is a huge ask. It's like asking them to be visible. It's like asking a lot from people.
Yeah.
So for you, what is the thought that makes posting small and not daunting?
I've figured out how to do it, um,
Okay.
without, I kind of have a process now. So, I mean, I can write everything, make the graphics, and schedule it in like 2 hours.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
so it's still a big task, but I think writing is like my not my thing at all. So the thought of
Okay.
like webinar is like so daunting because it's so much writing and
Okay.
so much like just planning and everything. So like I have the email, like not the emails, but my posts kind of like figured out. I kind of have a rhythm of it. I've done enough weeks that I can kind of start to reuse them. So that's not too bad. So that's why it doesn't feel too daunting. It's because I have a system for it.
Okay. Okay. So here's what this has just been so helpful for me in the past couple weeks, and I'm like, I feel like this will be very helpful for you too,
Right.
is everything that I have. an empowering belief about, I've been trying to generalize that thought pattern, like literally neurologically, to other shit. So for me, sorry for cursing on the Facebook call. I don't typically curse on the Facebook call. I usually curse a lot on our regular calls. I was like, but sorry for the children. I will keep this as like an adult, not for children. But within here, when we are thinking about empowering versus limiting beliefs, I've been trying to generalize the thoughts. Like, here's three power thoughts for you. I
Okay.
have a process, I have a rhythm, I have a system.
Okay.
Those are thoughts that I want you to have as beliefs about yourself, not just about posting, that I can create really good processes, I can create a good rhythm, and I can create systems for things are your power thoughts and power beliefs about yourself. These are really helpful because you can make a process for literally anything. You can create a rhythm around anything and you can create a system around anything.
Mhm.
If you have internalized the belief that you are confident in your system, process, and rhythm mindset, it's going to help you with other areas. So, the limiting beliefs are when have you ever heard of like growth versus fixed mindset? It's Carol Dweck's work. We did it when we were teaching, but there's fixed when it says like I can't versus
Mhm.
I can't yet or I'm learning to do something. But it's like writing isn't my thing, makes it circumstantial. I hated writing. I still hate writing. I can still say I'm like I don't love writing. I literally failed the fourth grade writing test as a child. I and then I
That's
had to
me.
do national boards and I had to like write like 300 pages. So just that belief system, writing isn't my thing, didn't serve me at all anymore. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like, okay, yes, I can choose to believe that. I can still be like, yeah, writing still isn't my thing. Running isn't my thing. Writing isn't my thing. They're not my things. But I did run a marathon. And I was
Mhm.
like, believing that running wasn't my thing didn't help me to run the marathon. Believing that writing isn't your thing isn't going to help you run a small business online.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
you're
it's
right.
just not a helpful thought. It's like, sure, we can fight it all day long, but it's like, I just don't think it's going to be helpful for you. So I think that like something like it's like I've created a process for writing posts. I can create a process for reaching out to chiropractors. I can create a process for reaching out to people online. I can
Hmm.
make the things that aren't my thing simple,
Hmm.
you know? So
Hmm.
what is a better belief for you? Because I want to give you a new thing. I want to give you a simple thing that feels small and not daunting. Circumstantially, there are strengths that we have, and there are areas for growth that we all have. Like, so what's something that you actually like to do?
Um, the thought, I mean, like, for some reason, like the thought of reaching out to chiropractors and like collaborating with them versus like just reaching out to random strangers and asking them about their hormones. Like the reaching out to strangers sounds a lot more appealing to me than like figuring out because then you're just kind of nurturing a conversation versus then I have to like really professionally pitch myself when I talk to chiropractors. So I think that's maybe the professionalism and like it just sounds like a lot more energy to reach out to chiropractors versus just like general people.
Which is just so interesting because literally, I think that's the opposite of the majority of my clients. A lot of my
Really?
clients would rather go B2B than B2C. So just
Um,
interestingly enough, the reaching out to strangers, you're like, oh yeah, nurturing through a conversation feels so easy to me. Like that's my
yeah.
favorite thing. Most people don't have that thought process. Let's
Yeah.
go with it because it's what you actually are or already organically think. Path
Mhm.
of least resistance. However, I do think that it's really interesting that you have that thought. And I want you to just like in the back of your mind, just have it as a goal that like, oh, professionally pitching is still just nurturing people. It's like it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Just for the future, don't I'm
Yeah.
not saying even before January that you need to reach out to chiropractors, but I'm just saying like just notice like the thoughts about chiropractors professionally pitching. It just probably won't serve you long term. So that's why I'm pointing them out to you. The other thing
Yep.
is you have a thought about like, oh, it's a lot of energy, like writing the post, writing the emails, writing the webinar. And I want you to have like another thought about like, oh, I'm going to make a process, I'm going to have a rhythm, I'm going to have a system for webinars that
Yeah.
is really easy for me, and I can help you. And maybe we push it back to like December or even January, but then you give yourself like a longer runway to work on it.
Yeah, I think that's my plan. And I know once I do one, then I gain the confidence. But for me, I usually have a lot of roadblocks when something's new. So I think
Yeah,
that's also why.
most people do.
And yeah, and so yeah, once I have like kind of see the rhythm of like putting together a webinar, writing the emails, the posts, then it'll come better for the future. But yeah, as of
And
now, I think I was supposed to do it like next week. And I was like, nope.
let's just no, let's just
Yeah.
not. Let's focus on nurturing, okay?
Yeah.
What about December 15th? It's a Monday. It is before the holidays. I know you said you're traveling a little bit.
Yeah. I'll be traveling the 5th. We'll see. I mean, I'm just gonna not,
Stress about it.
I'm just, if
Okay.
I have time and it works out, great. But the last week has been a lot of like other obligations and everything. So, hopefully the next few weeks as my schedule clears up a little bit. So
Love that.
I'll shoot for that, but I just don't want it to be like a you have to do this.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna slowly put together a webinar is my plan. When it comes about is we'll figure it out.
Figure it out. I love that. And so let's create, I'm putting in the to-dos. I want you to have a goal also so that you can keep your brain having like a focal point. So how
Yeah.
many people do you want to reach out to either daily, weekly, or this month?
I would say one person a day. Like just start. I don't want to like be over ambitious because
Okay, that's okay.
realistically, yeah, because realistically, I work Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I kind of like my personal business days. So like one person a day feels achievable.
Okay, excellent. And then we're pushing back to the webinar. And what is your social media post this week going to be about?
No idea. I haven't done anything this
Let's
week.
take a look. Let's figure it out. Okay, what are your pillars?
Um, I think
That was
this week
really
I was
good.
gonna write about mood swings is what I was thinking about, but I just didn't execute it.
That's okay. So we have here not snapping while you're traveling, s- stopping snapping and avoiding mood swings. And Alyssa, do you,
Oh, yeah, so we were gonna do mood swings this week. So that's what was already planned, I guess.
yeah, let's just do that. I'm moving it already in your calendar to November or to yeah, let's not snapping while traveling. And then
Hmm.
the week after, we had workouts during the holidays, a Thanksgiving exercise cycle. What's another t we you've got stress, energy, physical health. Are those your three? Those are stress, energy, physical health, stress, energy, physical. What's another what's an energy one that you could talk about?
Um, you like specific to energy or like I
You
mean I
talked
talked
about
about like
glucose and blood sugar. That's what you were going to talk about in the webinar. We were
yeah.
talking about like not needing coffee in the afternoon, 3 steps to balance blood sugar.
Yeah, just like avoiding the afternoon crash.
Let's just do
Um,
that. Let's do that
yeah.
on the 17th. And here, I'll just show you your calendar real quick. So I just moved it on here for you. So I just literally physically moved this, like didn't snap while traveling. I'm taking us out marketing the webinar, but like crashing what was glucose related,
Yeah.
balancing blood sugar, Brittany,
Mhm.
workout during the holidays, and then Pope.
Perfect.
Yeah, then now we got, I think that this could be a quick one for you to write.
Yeah. Yeah. To me
And
this
this is
feels
actually stress because it was the week before.
mhm.
So we said, get this. Just gonna do, boop, just move it right on over. No big deal. Okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. And then how do you recommend me talking like to one person a day? Like where do
I
I
would, okay, so this is a great question. And actually, the topic of my podcast this week, this was a good podcast. And actually, if you haven't, so you're in the mastermind. So do watch the week 2 challenge video. I'm gonna send it, like, I will tag you in it specifically in the group. But for you, I think this would be very, very helpful for you because it's all about creating a DM flow. It's like, so in the podcast this week for everybody for free, I tell
Mhm.
give you 3 Three messages: friends and family, new follower, business to business. If somebody's trying to sell you something, I want you to have those three responses set. That's for everybody. But then the other thing that I go into in this week for our challenge, because we're doing a November challenge, is I have you create a 10 DM questions.
Mm,
And I
okay.
vary it with open, closed, soft, and medium touch points. So I'm tagging you in it now. I would do this if I were you. I would
Okay.
literally just like fill out that worksheet if you've got time. I know energy is like not the thing right now, but I would just at least listen to the video to see how I think about it. And it can start to get you thinking, but at least I would just do friends and family reach out. So those are the easiest. To
Okay.
be like, hey, I don't know if you've seen, but I changed my program a little bit. Now I'm doing 4 months of one-on-one work. I actually meet with people every week. So if you know of anyone who needs some functional medicine support, it feels like their hormones are out of whack, especially over the holidays. If you wouldn't mind sending them my way, here's a link to book a consult. It's a free full hour call where we'll talk about where they are now, where they want to be, and if working with me as a functional medicine specialist would be a good fit.
Okay.
You see, I'm like, just that would be a very quick one for you to write. And I would say that would be a very fast one because you've got, I would say every single person has 100% friends and family when you first start. So it's the easiest, fastest one to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Feels all a little bit more digestible, but
Yeah. Just like literally copy and paste it and be like,
yeah,
hey, hope you're doing well. And then hope you have an amazing holiday. Because
perfect.
sneaky doesn't sell. Just be direct and be like, I want a referral.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
if they're
that's
like, I'm experiencing hormone struggles, then you'll say, great, you can
yeah.
book a consult. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds good.
All right. You're doing awesome though, lady. I'm so proud of you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I've got you.
Yes. Thanks, Megan.
Of course, Anne. All right. We've got Shelly and Amy, but Shelly, you were on first, so I'm gonna pull you up. What's a win and what would you like some coaching on?
My win is last week we talked about my webinar, and I want you to not listen to anything I say about my webinar because
Okay.
I have done them exactly the way you don't want to do them, and you totally don't need to do them this way. So
That's
don't listen
okay.
to anything I say. You can
Wait,
absolutely just go
what
do a
did you
live on
do?
Insta or wherever you're posting and
That's fine.
just do
Wait,
something there. But
I love
so
it.
we talked last week about that I used to be able to send 10 emails and get 100 registrants
Mm.
and how that's kind of changing now. So I went in and looked at my email invites from October and the click rates and the open rates and things. And I got inspired by emails I'm getting from someone who's doing a workshop now. And so I sent the first one this morning, and all I said was, we also talked about focusing on time and money.
Yeah.
And all I said in it was, do you want to be ready to take personal chef clients in January? Because that's the busiest time of year for personal chefs. There's still 7 weeks left. I will show you how you can be ready and get booked out in January, even if you only have a couple hours a week.
How many people signed up?
And then I made it just a click and register, no registration page.
Yeah.
And in the first 20 minutes, 11 people already signed up.
Yes.
So that's my win. And then
So
I'm
proud.
immediately going to go to my challenge.
Tell me all the challenges, but I'm so proud of you. Like,
Yeah.
if you said in the first 20 minutes, 11
Yeah.
people signed up.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
I know, and I made it clear that this is a one-click registration, like,
Huh?
so that they didn't go, oh, I'll get more information and think about it. They knew, but still, I know my challenge now is it will be very easier to get registrants that way, and then my challenge will be with show ups. But on the other
Okay.
side of that, everyone who registers will get the after sales emails. So this is even opening it up more. So I am really happy with that.
I am too.
Yeah.
And I also think that like there's always probably going to be a challenge with show up rates. Like I was it like it's like 5 to 10%. typically. So it's like if you get 10 people, of the 11 people, maybe one will show up. It's like that's kind of like how it is for a lot of people. So it's like if you're getting more than that, then you're doing great. And it's more so about the replay and the emails afterwards, because some people might not be webinar people, but they might be program people.
Yeah, my show up is usually 35%. So I want
Fantastic.
more than that this
That's
time.
fantastic. We love this.
And
Yes,
it'll
I
be
think it's good.
interesting too because I'm only doing one. I usually do it like at noon and 6, and I'm only doing 6
Love it.
because I am.
Because. Okay, so tell me what your challenges are.
So, hormones and massive anxiety and anger, and those are no, just kidding.
I was like, well, tell me all the things. And I was like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I was so fascinated listening to you because I don't have a lot of hormones anymore because I'm 55. And
Yeah.
yet you think that, you're going to suffer through 7, 10 years of perimenopause. Then when you get to the other side, it's going to be okay. It's not, it's still like, it's amazing. Just because you don't have
So fun.
estrogen, you still have, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we talked about, I have online training portal with one monthly group call and one-on-one calls.
Mm-hmm.
And there's either $1,000 or a payment plan. And
Mhm.
you and I talked about making the one-on-one calls separate
Upselling one-on-one. Yep.
and leaving the price the same and adding more group calls. No, make them every other week or once a week or whatever, but do it that way. And I'm wondering about doing that now and making this the last time you can get this. And I'm not going to do like a Black Friday sale, but that would be that, like November would be, this is it. Going into next year, everything is going to be different. So if you want it,
And I think this is a better time to do it for you. I'm glad that you're doing monthly. I think that one of the things that I found is I transition. So, do you know traditionally when your like worst quarter of the year is? Like when you're tip traditionally, mine's Q2, usually.
I haven't done I've never done 12 workshops in a year. I've never done
Okay.
one ever. Like I've done 10 or I've
Oh,
done
that's awesome.
whatever. And
I'm
then it's
so proud of you.
evergreen too. So I can see
Yeah.
higher months and lower months, but I can usually tie it directly back to what I'm doing.
Okay, okay, that's a fantastic. That's a fantastic thing. I would say the only thing that I would consider is if you can't tie it directly to them, then I think this decision is perfect. Here's why. Within my decision to change my offer this year, I Q1 is usually fantastic. Q4 is usually fantastic. Q3 is usually fantastic. I would say Q1 and 3 are usually my strongest quarters. Q4 is also pretty good. Q2 is the usually I have a lot of parents that are in my coaching program. So they're like, summer, I'm not gonna do any work over the summer. So that's why traditionally I've seen trends that like that
Hmm.
isn't the biggest sales for me. So it's great that you don't have that. It's great that like it's completely tied to what you're doing. That's fantastic. What I did that like in hindsight I probably would have done is I would have changed my said the last time to sign up is Q4. Q1 have the change already be present and then Q2 be just like maintaining. I did Q1 was the change, Q2 was the new offer, and that led to a change in sales, like a decrease in sales. And so that was the only reason I was asking, like
Mhm.
if Q if you have a certain trend, but if you don't have trends, the great news is then you are switching right before the new year. I'm guessing traditionally for a lot of people, January is the best month for sales. Like it is
Mhm.
usually like a fantastic month. But I don't know many businesses where Q1 is not a very strong month for like any
Mhm.
business. Like I've seen that as a trend for any niche, any industry. So I think your Q1 is going to be great. I think if you change it for November, then you get December as like the like if there is any like brand a readjustment, you have the whole Q1 to readjust. I think it's a
Mhm.
really good idea to change it in November. Say it's the last time, December, have the change, wonky as it may be. And then Q1, you've got the whole, because usually it takes 90 days to get brand awareness for a new, and it's not a new offer, but I want you to think like, okay, this might be a new offer for them. So I love it. I think it's a great time to change it if you don't have any data. If you were like Q4 is traditionally my strongest month and Q1 is like a really bad month for me randomly, then I would be like, okay, then maybe I would keep it stable until Q1, but if you don't have data, then let's keep it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And then we had talked about working social more for registrations.
Hmm.
And my weekly content is long form on YouTube, which is not a good fit for talking about a workshop that's that time sensitive, that close. Talk to me about. I have a Facebook page, I have a Facebook group with 1,100 people in it. I have Instagram and TikTok. So talk to me about reels or stories or you're so excited and I'm like,
You
oh,
know I am. I'm like, let me say less. So
yeah.
here's how I do it. And I just looked and I can't believe I don't have a repurposing podcast. I am going to make one literally next week for you. Well, next week I'm going to announce my webinar, but then I'm going to literally do a repurposing one. I think it's perfect for the time of the year. So here's how I repurpose long form content. Fun fact, every week I talk about my podcast.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I talk about. And let me know if this is redundant, if I've told you this before. But here's how I do it is I typically go in, let me see.
So pretty.
It's like, it's just like but it's so simple. Look at how easy this is. I literally have this and I change the color and then I have a picture. Like it's clean, but it's easy. Okay. So I would say, so this first post of the week, hilarious, this guy's hair falls off. But like I say,
Mhm.
listen, drop 82 to listen to the podcast. And I have this first post is just or actually it's usually, this is my post and it's a big long post about me and my personal story. I call this a cold post. And this is the first episode of the podcast, or like, I think it's the second one. I'll send it to you. But within this, it's like the, I share my personal story. And then I literally take my whole podcast, I put it in, actually, I don't even do it anymore. My VA does it. And I have her
Mhm.
put it into Chat GPT. And I call them cold posts because it's for your cold audience to get to know you. And this is more in depth than you need to know. But it's all about my podcast
Mhm.
episode for 86. So I literally have, this is my caption for the reel, and then I make it longer for the
Mhm.
post. And I just have so for you, I would literally take your YouTube transcript and I would say, hey, can you make a post about my personal story related? Remember, what did you say last week? It was, you were saying I used to be more intentional about it and I would have like,
My pillars were the how-tos and then the inspiration.
I would do the first one as an inspiration about your personal story.
Okay. And then
So,
thought reversals. Yeah.
or do it like thought reversals that you had, either one. Well, I would say I would do your first post of the week is inspiration. No, thought reversals that you had, create a hero's journey. That's a cold post. Then the second one I would do is I would take your whole podcast transcript, and that's your how to.
Mm.
And then the third one is about the testimonial, the
Mm.
inspiration. So this is warm, cold, warm, and hot. But I literally do the exact same, and I take my it's literally the real caption is just a short version um of the post caption. Now, the question is, what do you do for your reels that makes it really easy? If you want to do reels, first and foremost, I would say just getting 3 posts out there would be a great place to start. to just getting 3 static posts. Doesn't have to be fancy. Again, literally keep it simple. Picture Canva, picture Canva, picture Canva. Doesn't need to be fancy. But what I would also do is for your, if you did want to do a very easy reel, this is called Video AI. You do have to pay for it, but you could clip your podcast. And this does it, I do pay for it, but like it clips it automatically for me. And I'll show you it. Like it's
I do that in
literally like
Descript.
chooses.
I have it create the
Yes.
clips to repurpose. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
already done.
Yes.
So you're like, yeah, first and foremost. I was like, wow, that's so loud and obnoxious. But like you see, it's like it literally like gives me a score, and it's like trends, hook and flow, engageability, shareability. So that's what I would do is I would literally just repurpose your long form video, have chat, make it into 3 posts.
And then how are you incorporating like workshop invites into stories or reels or whatever?
Since you do it monthly, the way that I teach my clients to do a flow, if they do a monthly webinar, is I would have you start with a nurturing topic. Then the week before the webinar, my podcast episode, don't follow I'm doing a quarterly launch model, not a monthly launch model. But for a monthly launch model, I would do the podcast the week prior is the topic of the webinar. Tell people to join the webinar. And then the week of the webinar, then you're selling your program and do a podcast or a YouTube video about the program itself. And just give them like something that's new and unique. What I tell people is like create a bonus for people to sign up for this time period. That's not a one-on, well, since it's a group offer, you could do a one-on-one call. It's like the first 10 people that sign up get a one-on-one call with me. Not for this one, for the December one. For this one, you could do like, I'm gonna have like, again, ask chat, be like, can you create like a 7-week plan to get them a client by January? Create a worksheet based on all of my transcripts, like make a 7-week. Yeah. And I would not do a one-on-one call for everybody that signs up. I would do a bonus for the first 10 in the first 48 hours. That's what I do. Because you don't want to be doing like a million one-on-one calls.
That would be a good problem to have.
It would be a good problem to have,
The
but
first
it's not
time.
probably what the first time, but it's not a problem. Like, because for me, I was like looking and I was like, oh, I literally, oh my God, your shirt is hilarious. I can't. Like, I was just like, is that a cat? And I was like, that's a cat. That's great. I was like, but I would do like a January launch plan would be the worksheet bonus. And be like, everyone in the mastermind is, or everyone in my group is getting it. But if everyone joins, you're going to get the 7-week January launch plan. You could call it like an 8-week January launch plan. You could call it a January launch plan, but be like 8 weeks to launching. And you just keep it as a consistent freebie. These were a lot of ideas though. How are you feeling?
These are a lot of ideas, and I get to choose what I'm going to do. And the way I'm thinking about it this time is instead of setting my goals for each section and then working, I'm setting my goals for registration and I'm focusing on that. And then I'm setting my goal for, well, I have my goal for show
social
up, but I'm focusing on for the show up. So the social, oh my, it's so easy to get overwhelmed about that, which is so silly because I create video, so none of that is a big deal. I like to write, so none of that is a big deal. But I like to want to do all the things. And the thought I have that is my worst thought is if I do it the right way, which is someone else telling me how to do it, if I do it the right way, it'll work. And then that is the worst thought.
Okay. What is a way that you could shift it? Like, if I do it the right way, it will work. Here's my
It's
thought.
it's
Okay,
all experimenting in data. And as
I like
long as
that.
I keep going and I keep experimenting and I keep getting data, and I only get data by the doing, even if I do it shitty, even if I do it wrong, even if I whatever, it doesn't even matter because the only way to get better at something is to do it. And of course, it feels like crap in the beginning. And so I got used to being feeling crappy. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
It's
And
like I
that's
can feel
not
crappy and make money, or I can feel crappy and not make money. I'd rather feel crappy and make money.
100%. I can feel anxious and overwhelmed about this webinar and doing it in the next week. Or I can go read my book or go cook something or whatever and feel anxious and whatever, and then feel worse because I'm not doing anything. And then I load that on top. So
Yeah.
I'll just take half the crappy feelings
You'll
and
just
just
take
put them
half of the
into it.
crap.
Just
Because
half the
if you're gonna
crap,
feel
please.
crap anyways, it's like that's I think people are like, oh my God, there's gonna be a point in my business where I never feel bad. And I'm like, wow, never
Yeah.
happens. Never
Yeah.
happens ever. So bad news.
Yeah.
It gets better, but then there's other things that are hard.
It's different. Yeah. Different crap.
Like,
Different
yeah,
flavor crap.
it's a
Yeah.
different flavor of crap.
Great.
But I love this for you. Seriously, like for you, I think that like if you just say it's like there's no right way. I just have to do things until I find my way
Yeah.
and get data by doing it. I think that's literally going to be perfect for you. I
Yeah.
really do. So you ready for this webinar next week?
Well, and it's interesting. Another reason I'm only doing one is because I'm changing it because it's way too how-to-y.
Yeah.
Way I teach way too much. And part of that is my personality because part of that is that's the type of buyer I am, but I am in a minority, I have learned. That is not how. So I'm going to take time to update it, which also gives me the ability to say this is a new workshop, this is not the same, and it has a different name and stuff. So I'm going to be focusing things like I'm going to include as many testimonials as I can. I'm going
Yeah.
to tell more stories. I'm going to talk about the transformation. I do talk about the money. We do pricing and income.
I wouldn't,
And
that seems like I would give examples of pricing and income, but I wouldn't tell them what to charge. Be like, that's in the program.
I tell them this is what the average is.
That's fine. That is
This
fine.
is, you might price lower if you're doing this because people freak out. I said, you might price lower if this, you might price higher if this, but, and this is what it looks like. If you want two clients, this is what your schedule and income would look like. If you want to be full time, this is it. And that's their come to the webinar gift is the little spreadsheet that they could just put a number in and it'll tell them like how much it would be a month.
Okay. Okay. I did this as a webinar, and the feedback I got was that it was too much. I literally gave it, I was like, here's what your schedule would look like, full-time, part-time. And I felt like for me, that made me feel good. And for
It
other people,
did.
they got really stressed. And
Yeah.
I had a lower conversion. And then I'm going to tag you also in this webinar that I did. It's in the Facebook group. So it's like, it's if anybody wants to look at it, check it out. But it's the fully booked formula. And I think
Mhm.
that that would be a really interesting one for you to watch and
Mhm.
just see how I sold in it. Oh, you liked it already.
Yeah, I watched it. I'll watch it again.
Watch it
And
again and see the way that I sell in it. I think that could be a really helpful one for you to just kind of see. But I'm
mhm.
excited for you. How are you feeling?
My thought now is it's just like, and this has been my thought for a while too, simplify it, simplify it, simple. Like you're saying, even you saying that right now that you got that feedback from people, I already know the possibility that a lot of my people can't deal with a spreadsheet.
I would make
Like,
it, and I would
there,
make it they don't get a free gift. They only get a gift if they sign up for a consult.
I don't do consults. They just have
Or
to
if they
sign
sign
up.
up. I mean, if they sign up for the
Oh,
program.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You a bonus. Mm-hmm.
Only get the 8 week to launch bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the spreadsheet. Keep it in the program.
It's so interesting to filter everything I know. It's so funny.
I know, trust me, it's my biggest work. Here's what they need to know is that in order for what is the title of it? Make money as a personal chef?
I think it's Get Fully, it's new, so I don't have it off the top of my
No,
head.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
It's Get, come on, loading.
Get something fun. It's like
It's scroll. Get Booked Fast, How to Launch Your Personal Chef Business Before the January Rush.
okay, get booked fast. If you were to just like if you were to tell me 3 steps to get booked, what are they? I know, dude, just like don't listen to anything that you've
Yeah.
done ever before in your brain.
Yes.
Just tell me if I wanted to start, I love cooking. What would you tell me? What are the 3 things I need to do to get booked fast?
You need to learn how to do meal prep services and you need to talk to people, pick a price and talk to people. That's it. Which is what I was going to do. I'm going to talk about doing the meal prep service. We're going to talk about pricing. And then we're going to talk about getting clients. I'm
Make
not
it
going to talk about the
simple.
recipe collection. I'm not going to talk about their
Yeah.
specialty. Yeah, that's all the stuff that I'm taking out. Yeah.
Literally, that's all. Meal prep, price, people.
Yeah.
Prep, price, people.
Yeah.
You can keep it that simple.
Yeah, I think that's what it is inside the online training is prep.
Prep, but like keep it
Yeah.
as simple as you possibly can. And notice the way that I sell in that webinar. It's more advanced, so don't like stress yourself out about like adding all the pieces. But like what I do is I'm like, it was like message, ask, close. That's like what it was. And then I taught them the value of like you want to teach them the value of meal prep. You want to show them what it looks like to start your business with and without meal prep. And then you want to give a testimonial. Here's one of my clients. They came to me and they weren't meal prepping, but they knew they wanted to start it. They started meal prepping and their business took off. Now let's talk about pricing. It's like if you're priced too low, it's not going to work. If you're priced too high, it's also not going to work. I have the like signature pricing point, which helps you create demand for your offer. This is with your signature price, you're going to sign more clients. Without, you won't. Here's a testimonial of another person who used this and got results. Here's the last piece is this. And then be like, the prep price per people is my flow that most people use to get booked fast. And I hope that by you listening to this, you are going to get fantastic results and people are going to start booking really quickly. However, if you want to take this work and go a little bit deeper, I would
Mhm.
love to have you join our full year program. My goal is that everyone signs clients in January. And to do that, to expedite that for this launch, I'm offering a new bonus, which is the 8 week launch bonus, which teaches you how to get booked in January. And that's what we're gonna, if you sign up by Friday of this week, you will get this bonus. I'm also going to include it in the group for everybody who ends up joining. But like, this is what I would like. I'm so excited for you guys to join.
Mhm.
But do you see how simple it is? Like, how it's like, I'm not giving them too much how. I'm just telling them that they need a little bit of how. And I give them some stuff. I talk about like struggles versus striving. I talk about like creating a funnel. I talk about the like I'm like your network equals your net worth. You need to increase you don't necessarily need to increase your follower count if you use every follower to the best of its advantage. I literally pulled it up. I was like, I'm trying to like pull pieces of it. So I am teaching a smidge here, but I'm not over inundating it. Like you're not like, okay, here's where you need to find your people. Here's how you need to message them. You need to message them this message. You need to have this. You need to have that. Nope, we're gonna keep it super, super simple.
Okay,
Like
so when I
honestly.
talk about getting clients, I have my simple success system, and all it is you make a plan, you do your plan, and then did your plan work or not? And you just keep going around doing that same thing.
Okay, create a little bit more safety for them though, because that sounds a
Well,
little
yeah, at
too.
first I don't say it in that tone.
Yeah, yeah, I was
'Cause,
like, I
yeah,
was like, I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, we need to teach a little bit more than that. But it's like so what I would say is I would say like you need to plan around these three variables. These are the three things that you want to make a plan around. And you choose three variables. For me, like, or it's like the main variable I focus on, even for a webinar, is I'm focusing on show up rates. That's like the one thing I'm choosing. Every month you have a different goal and you're going to be focusing on a different thing. Here are five things that you can pull from. You're going to focus on a different thing, and then this is how you can get booked fast. But yeah, I think that like having that like evaluation, it's like the only way it doesn't work is if you stop. That's why having
Mhm.
consistent longevity and support is so helpful.
Yes. And one last speed thought. Thoughts
Yep.
about people who come to every webinar and never join, people who are super successful off your free content, people who are not potential clients who still sign up for the webinar and stuff. Why am I even looking at this? Or thoughts to not, is it just not to think about those people? Is it just staying focused on the,
I actually think it's good to focus on those people. Actually, one of my clients who I literally have our call in just a second, but it's like we actually ask ourselves that every time. What would be the thing? What are they missing for them not to join? And we come up with 10 hypotheses.
hmm,
So I put in here people who come to every webinar and never join, people who are not an ideal client yet. What would it take for them to be an ideal client? What would it like? What do they need to be like an ideal client? What would it take for them to be ready? The people who are getting value on their free content, how could you show them that they get even more in the group? So I
mm,
actually would do that for all three of those subsets. Like, what would it
interesting.
take to be an ideal client? And then what would convert the freebie people? How would we not show them enough? Not that you haven't, like, not from a scarcity mindset, but from like a curiosity mindset of being like,
Right.
what would it take? It's like, why haven't they signed up? That's so weird. They've signed up for every single webinar. Literally, like one of my clients, she has like 400 people and 300 are repeats. I'm like, why haven't they paid? What is it that they need to hear? And every single webinar, we change something. Every single webinar.
Hmm.
That hers is the first one you said. People come to every webinar and not join. But like that gives you 30 different ideas for all three of those groups of people to like be like, okay, what could I do to convert them? Why haven't they converted? They need a touch point from me? They just need to get to know me a little bit better. I could totally DM a couple people and find out. It's like, hey, I know you've come to every single webinar. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. It's like, do you have a business yet? Are you looking to start your first business? Like what made you get into personal chef? Do you like to cook a certain type of cuisine? Tell me about yourself. Get to know them.
Yeah.
But that's the thing for one of my other clients. That's what she's found too. Is like literally she just gets to know them a little bit and they've converted.
Interesting. Yeah.
Or she'll have their team, she's a big team, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. But I'm excited for you. This is going to be so amazing. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. But
Yeah.
good luck with this webinar next week. It's going to be so good.
Yes. It's on Monday because you told
It's
me the
on Monday.
17th, so I'm just doing it Monday. So
Amazing. And
I'll talk
if
to
you
you
want to,
Tuesday.
I'll talk to you Tuesday and we'll see how it goes. And Amy, if you need some coaching, feel free to jump in on the next call, and I will see you guys next week.